The PepTalk Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're here with Mr. Deven Current. Welcome.
What's up, Steve?
Grateful to have you here, buddy.
Grateful to be here.
Deven Elias, is it Elias?
Elias.
Elias Current, inmate 2336, Chippewa County Jail. St. Cloud Police Record, Montevideo, man. Deven Current. Fast forward to now, Deven Current, master tattoo artist, licensed.
Yes, sir.
Totally turned his life totally around. There's nobody in this town is more proud of you than me.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, let's talk about how you did it, man.
Oh, man. Where do we begin?
Let's talk about a year ago.
About a year ago. Well, actually, right before I moved here, I was living over there in Montevideo and working 3 jobs, just trying to make ends meet, and got the call from you. The reason why I was able to be working 3 jobs, though, is because I had gotten clean. I had kind of a traumatic instance take place there, and due to drug use and mental health issues, I wound up in the psych ward for like 3 weeks out in Fargo, North Dakota. And I've been sober ever since. And I mean, as you can attest to, basically, like, we tried to do this for years. You know, from the first time we connected, you believed in me, and you would check in on me and see how I was doing, and it just wasn't the right time.
I remember probably about 10 years now, right?
Yeah.
Since I met you, I was cutting your hair. And Deven, you've always had this presence about you, and I think all your friends can attest that you can be great. You can be great. And behind all that was a lot of people feeling what a waste of talent.
Yeah.
Including me.
I heard that my whole life.
I kept on thinking to myself, when's he gonna get it, when he's gonna get it? But you know what it really comes down to, Deven, is I couldn't do nothing for you until you wanted to do it for yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that that's something that both of us totally understand, you know, and would love to get through to people.
Absolutely, yeah.
So what clicked at when you were locked up? What clicked? When did you meet?
Which time? I mean,
Well, this last time, because you're on a really good run right now.
Oh, definitely.
You've done more in this last year than probably you've done in your whole life
My
when it
entire
comes
life.
to self-help,
Yeah.
take care of you.
So basically, that's what it boils down to, man. I just learned to love myself. You know, I've done it my entire life, growing up, young adulthood, doing it for other people, doing it because I felt like, you know, other people would put value on me, like they would make me feel valued with their love or attention, you know, and that's not lasting, that's fleeting. So as soon as those people are gone, or that attention is gone, or it just doesn't seem like it's enough, even in my brain, you know, I could be getting the same attention from the same person for years, and just one day it's not enough to satisfy me. That sobriety was gone, the self-care, the mental health, you know, just the maintenance of life. I would go right out the window because I had no value inside of me. When I looked in the mirror, I didn't see anything of value, you know.
I actually know exactly what you're talking about, to where, isn't it crazy how we as humans, especially people that grew up in dysfunctional families, growing up with alcoholism, abuse, mental health issues, and we see that when we're young, right? So the percentage is way higher in them type of kids that have gone through those kind of things, and we both seen that. But isn't it crazy how we can manipulate our minds into thinking, I feel good if I take care of everybody else.
Yep.
If I can make everybody else around me happy, I'm going to feel good. And we're just destroyed inside.
Yeah.
We're heartbroken inside. Don't give 2 shits about ourselves inside.
Yeah, we get this kind of like a martyr, this idea that we're a martyr, and even if we have to suffer, then, but it's really not that. It's a self-defeating behavior, and it's a crutch that you can continue to lean on and go back to when you feel weak. I've noticed that, especially with like my anger and just my criminal thinking, my addictive thinking, it was always a crutch. I always had a reason. Like, well, this happened to me when I was younger, or this happened to me, throughout my life, and that's a reason why I can just escape and numb myself. And when I started to actually let go of those crutches and stopped making excuses for myself, it was like I finally realized, like you were just talking about, just how much potential is inside of me.
Mm-hmm.
And realistically, I mean, just complete honesty, it's my spirituality. I'm not religious by any means, but I am very spiritual. Growing up, with my Native American background and being adopted out into a Lutheran, evangelical Lutheran Christian setting, I was kind of confused.
Sure.
But it was like something was always drawing me back, and it was the Native American culture and Native American spirituality. And I just all thanks goes to the Creator. I feel like everybody kind of views the world through like a screen that's in front of their face.
I agree.
And everything that comes through that screen now it's all spirituality. It's all, thanks to the Creator. It's all humility.
Meaning for you.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Every single day, I find myself thinking, instead of like, oh, look what I just accomplished, or, it's look what I was just blessed with, and how can I help and share this with other people,
Yeah, you're at that place of peace, man. I was just driving down First Street earlier. Sun was blaring in my truck, and all I kept thinking all I was overcome with was, so grateful, man. Like, to be like crushing it.
Yeah.
But like, it ain't even about money.
No.
It's just about how I feel,
Self-worth.
mind, body, soul.
Yeah.
Like how I feel. There's just like no distractions. Don't want to be around any negative energy.
And I feel that. I also feel like I've been blessed with a gift to connect with people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think everybody has that inside of them. Just some people are more eloquent with their words, or more able to express themselves and connect with somebody, and because I was blessed with that, I feel like it's my responsibility to share that with people and connect with them and, listen. Like I was born with some big ears, and I think that's because I was meant to listen, and actually care about somebody.
Yeah, and let's talk about what did it take for you to get there, though, Deven? Like what did you do within yourself? I know what I did to change my entire mindset and to be able to have that day like I had today, driving down First Street, just feeling grateful about life. Like what did you do?
I don't think there was any one thing. I don't think there was any one specific moment. I've had a lot of really great moments in the last year and a half, but I don't think there was any one exact thing. I think it was a consistent desire to just better my life, to better the people around me, better their life. If I had the chance and opportunity, don't let it go, because those what ifs, so like 3 years ago, my older brother overdosed, and that was really tough, dude. He was my best friend. He was, my mentor, my father figure. I didn't have a father growing up. I know you can relate to a lot of the things that I went through growing up. That was probably the toughest 4 months of my life thus far, and I lost my brother. And it was, man.
It probably puts you right back into the drugs, alcohol. Well, how can I numb it? All that kind of stuff, or what happened there?
Basically, I stayed strong through it all until I didn't have to be strong for other people, like we were speaking on earlier.
Sure.
I made it through the funeral stuff. I helped raise the money, and then when I didn't have to be strong for anybody, I just dove off the deep end, and that's when I really, really, really lost myself, and
Yeah, and when we do that, we got excuses. We got to feel sorry for ourselves. We got blame. We want to say everybody else is because of him, her, that guy, my mom, my dad, my brother, sister, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And it's just spiral. And you guess what? At the end of the day, guess who you're left with? You're left with yourself, all by yourself, to make the conscious decision: am I going to stay here or get out of it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I watched everybody everybody I was around growing up just go down that same path, and I swore I wouldn't do it, but it was like everything. It was the only thing I knew. And that's a cop-out. That's really a cop-out because I was blessed with a lot of potential, and I had people around me that loved me telling me, you know, especially after I was adopted, they're like, you know, you can be anything you want to be. But if you don't believe it yourself, really, what is that? Those words are, you know, fall on deaf ears. It's really not going to change who you are, not going to change your path. You have to do that for yourself. You have to believe in that potential. And I mean, just like going back to the opportunities that you've given me, you believed in me before I believed in me, and that's why it never really worked out. And I feel like now that I kind of bought into it, what you were telling me, like, dude, we could go, there's no limit where we could go. And I bought into that, and look.
No, let me tell you something, because I think it's really important for one single name to get thrown out here, and that's Sonia. You know? Sonia reached out to me and told me what happened about a year back, and it told me where you ended up, and, you know, I found a way to get through to you, find you, spoke some stuff into your ear. Then you made the decisions, Deven. I could have never, you would not be where you are today if you didn't make the decisions for yourself. And for the first time since I met you, I knew you were for real, like when I talked to you. But I knew that I had to reach back. But there was a time that I wanted to reach back, but I had to take care of me first.
Yep, absolutely.
I was beat down too, you know, because I think we want to be heroes. We want to try to take care of everybody, this and that, but just we'll thin ourselves out to death to where we're vulnerable as an individual. And the question a while back that I asked you about, you know, what did you do? Like, what instance? It's kind of a loaded question. I know exactly what you did. It's a combination of things, and it's something that I talk about all the time because it's so simple to change your life if you do these few things. Change your habits, change your mindset, and change what you say to yourself. So easy.
Yeah.
So easy, but so hard for so many people.
Oh, definitely a simple concept, but, you know, to put it into practices, it takes a lot of heart, and it takes
You can start it and not even believe it.
Yeah.
But if you just, I'm going to start these habits, and every day I'm going to do it, right? Every day I'm going to get up at 4:00. Every day I'm going to eat this time, and I'm only going to do this. Mm-hmm. It sucks the first few weeks. A few days, maybe a month. But I promise people, if you do it for 90 days, it'll change your life. Now add that into what you tell yourself. If you wake up each day, and we've done this, Deven, when we were feeling sorry for ourselves, when we're thinking the world owes us something, when we're thinking, oh, it's not fair if so-and-so this and that, and we got all these excuses in the world, right? You're already going to have a bad day. But if you start your day off with, like, I'm dominating the day. I'm going to kick butt today. Mm-hmm. I'm going to get up and go to work. I'm going to make sure I hug my kids today. I'm going to make sure I do these. All of a sudden, you get a couple hours of that in you.
It's definitely, like, a lot of people say it's as simple as making a choice, you know. To change anything in your life is as simple as you just make a split-second decision to do things differently. I agree to a point, but I definitely disagree that So I made a decision to get off of drugs and stay clean. And that's a decision I made at that time, and I told myself I can't do this anymore. It's destroying my family. It's taking my wife and my kids from me. But every single day with every decision I make, I have to, you know, pay honor to that decision I had already made. And I have to sort through my life, my daily life, with that in mind. So you make that decision one day, but you continue making it every single day. And I think it's the same with, like, any kind of change you want to make or positivity you want to bring.
Mm-hmm. It's all about choice. Mm-hmm. Yeah, in a split second, either one of us could make that choice to just, bam, you know, I'm going backwards. Mm-hmm. I don't care anymore.
Yep.
But when you get enough under your belt, enough self-worth, self-respect, love and respect for yourself, and you know that you matter, right? Mm-hmm. It gets easier to not make a bad choice.
And you get that little bit, you know, of time underneath your belt or behind you, and you can see that the times that you used to celebrate and think were so fun, those were far and few between, and there was a lot of chaos and hurt and pain, and there's other ways to deal with pain. There's other healthy ways to deal with pain. There's other ways that, you can address things versus just self-destruct mode.
Yeah, and one thing I know about you, one thing we share is that we care about our legacy. You got a lot of kids, man.
Yeah, for sure.
How many kids you got?
I have 9.
Nine.
So my wife, Sabrina, had 3. I had 3 when we met, and we've had 3 together.
All right, 9 kids. It's amazing. It's a lot of little Devens. And Sabrina's, it's cool.
Yeah, it's great. It's a blessing. It's probably, outside of tattooing, the only thing that I know for sure that I do well. And I mean, that was long before I was ever tattooing. I've grown a little bit more confident with my artwork now. I can say I tattoo pretty well, but being a dad, I'm batting 1,000, man.
Yeah,
nobody ever does it perfectly. There's no manual or handbook to raising a child. I feel like if you do it with love, if you lead with love, and you come from a place of honesty and genuine compassion, your child's going to turn out pretty dang awesome.
I know a lot of dads, Devin, but the one dad that's inspired me to want to be a better dad is you. I've seen you playing outside basketball with your kids. I see how you interact with them on their birthdays and this and that. And I've actually consciously told myself that's what I need to be doing too.
And for people like myself that grew up without an actual father figure, you kind of latch on to whatever attention you can get, especially like male role models or whatever, and mine weren't always the best, and I don't blame any of them for the path that I chose, but I definitely grasped the concept a little late in the game, but I fully grasp it that I have 6 boys that live at home with me, my 6 sons, and they watch everything, they soak it up like a sponge, you know what I mean? And so they're looking at dad like, okay, how does dad handle it when something bad happens? How does he celebrate when something good happens? Mm-hmm. So it's definitely a constant lead by example kind of thing where
I think that's an excellent point, because somebody, growing up in dysfunctional family and just the yelling and the screaming and this and that, and that carries with you.
Oh, it does.
Right? I even had to check myself a few years back on, maybe even 6 months back at times, on pulling those behaviors out, because that's what I saw. Mm-hmm. And then you go into denial, like you're not doing it, right?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't hit nobody. I was just yelling.
You normalize it because it's happened your whole life around you. Like you think, okay, this is just how people communicate. This is how people have a relationship with each other, and that's not true. Yeah.
What I had to do though, and it was the game changer. I remember talking to Dustin and Pat about it too, where it was like I started respecting myself enough to where I don't want to yell at her or yell at him or yell at anybody. I don't want to be angry right there. I don't want to hold resentments inside of me. I don't want to feel guilty. I don't want this and that. So I took a real look at why I do what I do, why I react the way I react, because of this and because of that, and totally changed it all based off not about anybody else. Not that I care about everybody else. But to care about yourself enough to not act that way.
And
respect yourself enough to act that way. Then it clicked. And it was like all that stuff was over. Yep. Never did it again.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was that easy.
It's freeing too.
It's crazy how easy it was.
See, it really blows my mind when I think about it, because I had a really bad temper problem. I had really bad anger issues and a million excuses about why, from PTSD to anxiety to depression to,
Which a lot of people can relate to.
A lot, yeah.
Especially now.
With
now times.
COVID stuff.
Yeah.
And it's so freeing to know that, with my spirituality, my beliefs, my morals, it's a lot less work to just feel a feeling, get through it, let that stuff go, versus just hanging on to that feeling and compounding and just piling everything up. And then you have nothing left to do but explode.
Right.
And the people that you're going to explode on are you're going to bleed on the people that didn't cut you. And that's tragic. And that's,
Yeah, a lot of times the people that are close to us end up being the ones that are getting hurt the most. And they didn't do nothing wrong.
And they didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, I totally get it, man. However, when things do, some of you get, every once in a while you have those days.
Oh, yeah.
All right? What do? You reach out to someone that, I remember a couple months back, you're like, oh, man, I don't know anymore.
Yep.
This and that, the car broke down, this, that, and it was like you were getting, sometimes those days come where you just get beat down. Like 6, 7 things happen at once. I've gone through them. I'm still going to go through them. So are you.
Yep.
But you know what you got to do? What did I do? Devin, I'm losing my mind right now.
Yep.
And then what do you say?
There's a lot more.
I need to hear something positive.
There's a lot more good things going on than bad.
And it levels it off enough to where I make the right decisions to not do nothing stupid. Mm-hmm. But you got to interact with people. Like, people try to do it all by themselves.
Oh, you can't.
No, it's over with.
Can't keep.
Then you run into drugs, alcohol, or something to numb it because you're feeling guilty for the way you acted.
There's definitely a level of I understand that there's people out there that are introverts or like their alone time, but I think, and this is just my opinion, a huge part of the problem in today's society in the world, especially the United States, with all the political stuff going on. Me personally, this is what I believe: it could all be lessened and brought a little bit closer if we just learned to love each other, if we just came together versus you're this and I'm that, and labeling people or just putting things in a box, and that's going to always be division. There's always going to be a division there, and it's alarming to me, and it doesn't go on in my household, and I try not to put myself in those settings, but I do customer service. I tattoo all day,
Mm-hmm.
and so I can't control who's going to come in and sit in my chair, but I can relate to them, and I can try to do my little part to, be the answer and not more of a problem.
Isn't it crazy how, like, it's so much easier to hate and be angry and to point the finger and blame and you're this, you're that, than it is just to love. Why? Then just to love and to be understanding and caring and understand that cultures are different, this is different, that is different.
That's where I see the kind of this Libra scale of, do I want to be vulnerable or do I want to be angry? What have we learned our whole life? If we're angry, people are going to back off. Mm-hmm. If I'm vulnerable, there's a chance that I might get hurt. So do I want to love somebody and be vulnerable, or do I want to be angry and push them away?
Yeah, but the vulnerability and humility is kind of hand in hand. They're a powerful, powerful thing.
Absolutely.
Why? Because people can relate to that.
Yeah, people can relate to it, and realistically, I feel like just in tattooing as an example, the most humble artists are the ones that I want to be around. You don't necessarily have to be the most technically skilled or the most, widely known or best paid. If you're humble, then I know you're not done growing and you're not done learning. And I try to mirror myself off of that. David Garcia, Streets, is great example of that. He will never stop getting better at what he does. And this goes for anybody that's passionate about what they do. If you're humble, you're never done learning. Okay, I can get a little better here, I can get a little better there, Mm-hmm. But there's definitely a difference between being humble and being negative towards yourself.
Right. Let's talk about that a second, though, because when you started tatting, I remember seeing you tatting on Facebook, out of your basement
Mm-hmm.
and, scratching away, trying to learn. It reminded me of doing haircuts at the college on the trash can. I'm going to find my way, and you came in and you started your apprenticeship, and I felt in the beginning you were pretty confident, maybe on borderline cocky, but you had humility. But all of a sudden, 4 or 5 months into it, Alex came with that
that wake-up call.
He bodied you, dude. He was like, your stuff's garbage, dude. This and that and that and that, and I actually was like, I thought Devin was doing pretty good, But I think Alex knew that you needed something like that.
Oh, absolutely.
Look what happened.
And that's the thing with just that situation. Alex Navarro he is so wise. He is the wise serpent. He's so wise that he knew that I was going to light a fire under me.
And it did.
He also, I feel like he's a great judge of character, and he knew I'm past the point where I'm going to be some hothead about it. My feelings were hurt, genuinely.
Oh, I was in the room, dude, and I looked and I was like, "Where is this going to go?" Because,
genuinely.
I'm trying to build a business here.
Yeah. But I just felt like inside, man, maybe not everything he's saying is exactly true, but there's some truth to it. And regardless, if it's going to motivate me to try harder and get better at what I'm doing, that's not negative.
No.
It's not negative. What it is, it's just motivation. And he wasn't, I don't necessarily know if he was hating or whatever, but I think he motivated me, and I think it was like one of those grab the pebble from my hand moments. Like,
I actually had the talk with Alex. It was a few weeks back, and I was like, Devin's come a long ways, and it was like I said that, and I was waiting for the response, and you know what he said? Yeah, man. And then we talked about that a little bit about what happened, and I'm glad it happened too. Look at what you're doing, man. You're putting out great work. You got huge customer base. You're booked for months.
Yeah.
And a year ago, you were in jail and in an institution, and you found yourself, and you started making the changes, changing the habits, the mentality, all that. You started caring about you. You know, we can care about all the people around us. I've heard this for years. When I didn't care about myself, I would be like, why ain't everybody making me happy? Why ain't she making me this, that, everybody around me? Can't do it, man.
No.
The only person who's going to make you happy is you.
So basically, the way I see it, I just watched the movie The Shack. Have you seen that?
I have not.
It's a pretty religious, like Christianity movie, but it's a great book, and they turned it into a movie. It's amazing. And just one of the quotes that stuck out to me last night, and it like when something jumps out at you and then you just automatically remember it, it was unresolved pain will get in the way of what you're created for. And what you're created for is to love others.
Yeah.
And I feel like my favorite part about tattooing, it's cool to be in the lifestyle in a tattoo shop, great one like we got down there at Relentless Ink. But my favorite part is to hear people's stories and why they're getting their tattoos. And even if it's like, a small shop minimum tattoo with little to no meaning to them, if I get them talking, they're going to, especially because it hurts. Tattoos hurt, It doesn't really matter. Tattoos hurt. To get their mind off the pain, I try to keep them talking. I try to get them talking about themselves and happy things. I'm not going to ask about their divorce. I'm not going to ask about their dog getting hit by a car. I'm going to ask about, how are your children? What's going on in your life that's good, And
a lot of times the tattoo that they're getting, there's something that means something to them.
Mm-hmm.
Every tattoo I have, there's a story behind it.
Yep.
It was the grind. It was the mission, and I think it's really important to talk to them.
Absolutely. And my favorite tattoos to do are, memorial, anything to do with memorial, portraits. I mean, obviously, if somebody's going to get a portrait of someone else on their body, it's a very meaningful connection. To learn about that, be a part of that, it's just a blessing. I feel honored. Anytime somebody asks me, I'm not like, oh yeah, I'm gonna kill this tattoo and I'm gonna get all these likes and views on it. No, I think like, thank you for the opportunity, for the trust. For believing that I can share my gift with you and it's going to come out beautifully. And that's
that humility and being humble as an artist mentality.
Absolutely.
Because the flip side of that is sit down, I got this, I know what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not the way to go. Let's go back to that movie again. What, say that quote again.
So it was a spot in the movie where a man was meeting God, and there was a female playing the role of God, and she just does an amazing job. And he's like, well, what was I created for? What are we created for? And God answers back, well, you're created to love others. And then there's another man that's playing the role of Jesus. So there's three people. There's God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. And Jesus, I think, is the one that says, like, unresolved pain will get in the way of what you're created to do.
Yeah, that's what I want to talk about. See, I went on like this trip over the last year. It took time to single-handedly get every single feel guilty, anything that was a negative energy in my life, any person or any situation or anything, I single-handedly, like an assassin, got rid of every single...
It was a cleanse.
It was unbelievable, but it took time. See, I think people think that it's just a bam and it's over with. Like, tomorrow I'm going to change my life. Everything's going to be different. It's not how it works. It's a combination of a lot of things. It takes a lot of work.
With a person like you, Steve, it is a process, because I've watched you try to cut people out that were, toxic or, just kind of riding the fame or riding the name, and you do good, and then they have a hardship, and your big heart kicks in, and you're like, man, I can help them. They're going to get it right this time, and it's hard to watch, but you definitely did it on your own. There was a lot of us that were cheering you on, but it was like, he's got to figure this out.
No, we all do.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
even some of my mentors that I respect the most, they knew, like, he's got a lot to go through still. He's got a lot to figure out.
Like Bill.
But I'll tell you what, like, I bet you my list was in 50s and 60s and it wasn't just people, it was things too, and habits, things I was telling myself, habits, bad habits, all that stuff. And just recently I was down to 2. And I took care of both of those too, and found peace, and like walking out of the house and walking out of the restaurant, visiting with a couple people. It was like I had my moment of like, I don't have any more. Yeah. I don't have any more things where I feel guilty about that are weighing me down. Mm-hmm. And it's not things that I did. It was people that were making me feel that way, or things that I was hearing that was making me feel that way, or things that I was telling myself. Mm-hmm. Eliminate, gone. Yeah. That's why I can drive down First Street and just feel like, oh man, I'm grateful. I'm so grateful.
Did the spiritual detoxes. Like,
yeah. And then give yourself enough. There's nothing wrong with saying, nice job, man.
Yeah.
Like, you put in the work. Some of those missions were 1,000 miles.
Yeah.
Had to put something to, people don't put things to bed, man. I know some people that are still bitching about the same things that happened to them when they were kids, and now they're in their 70s.
Our trip to Pine City.
I feel bad for those people because they wasted 60 years worrying about something that they could have let go of when they were 25, 30, 42.
Yeah.
It's just not knowing any way to live, man. But back to you, man. I'm proud of you, Deven. I've watched you grow. I've taken some stuff from you, meaning like I've learned from you too. I want you to know that.
I appreciate that. Yeah, and like I remember, you came to the house one day, or maybe you were dropping me off, and my kids were outside playing Foursquare in the driveway. Remember that?
Yeah, I do.
And then you walked up, and I'm like, "Hey guys, say hi to Uncle Pep." And they're like, "Hey Pep, hey Uncle," and I had them stop what they were doing. I said, "What do I tell you about this guy all the time?" Well, if you like somebody and you respect them and you really appreciate what they're doing with their life, the way that you can do that for your life is get next to them, ask them questions, put value and cherish your guys' relationship and build it, and then you'll see yourself start to do the same things. And that's, I've done that a lot in the last, year and a half, 2 years with you. We're not always every single day.
Right. Don't have to be.
We don't have to be.
No, I'm too busy for all that. I can't see you every day.
You're a hard guy to get a hold of
sometimes.
Yeah,
but I appreciate that. But it goes both ways. I wanted you around me too. Mm-hmm. Moving forward, what's next for you? You got something coming up here next month, right? In April?
April 24th.
Are you getting back into your passion?
Yeah, yep. I'm going to see if this old body can still do it, man.
Okay, so where's it at?
April 24th, Mason City, Iowa. Mike Estes, he is a fight promoter from down in Iowa. He's putting on a big MMA show in a $38 million arena down there. And Jumbotrons, the whole, professional fighters on the card. I think there's like between 10 and 15 fights already on the card, and I'm pretty excited, man.
That's awesome.
I got to get back in this win column, and it's actually a coincidence that you asked me about that. The guy that I'm fighting, Peter Keepers, he's I guess, as some people would say, he's a problem. Like he has great potential. I just happened to be scrolling on Facebook one night a few months back, and I watched his first fight. Mike Estes had went live, and I watched him finish that fight, and I literally commented, not knowing who Peter was whatsoever. I said, "Oh, watch out, welterweight division! Like this guy is for real."
Right, but you always felt like you're for real too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you just didn't have everything right together, and now you do. There's a big difference.
I mean, yeah, I always started out 2-0, and I fought some really good guys starting out over there in South Dakota, but I tore my ACL playing semi-pro football. And I've lost 3 in a row. Given they're all title fights, and, you know, I went from, you know, lower level guys to fighting champions and legitimate, you know, potentially and actual pro fighters. You know, the guy Adam Vance, Adam Delcourt, I think is his last name, if I remember right. Adam, sorry, I messed that up. He went pro the fight after he fought me. Dakota Vance he's just a boy wonder. Michael Boylan, he was a 2-time champion, and you know
the difference between them and you though is
what's that?
Probably mental, like the mental game. Because at the end of the day, Devin, you have to tell me like right now you're in a better spot than you've ever been.
Absolutely.
Mentally.
Absolutely.
Right. So like those guys, a lot of those fights I've seen fights come down to just one little mental mistake.
And that's what it's a chess match, and literally on any given night with one punch, you know, look at Jorge Masvidal. He kneed Ben Askren in the face and the fight was over. You know, it's really, it comes down to what you do when your back's against the wall there and you're in the cage, and I feel 100% ready for this. I got some weight to lose and I got some training to do, but come April 24th, I mean, me and Peter are we're gonna have it out.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think the crew and I are gonna come and support you. It's gonna be a good time.
Oh, I can't wait.
But just to see all the stuff evolve for you in your life, like becoming a professional tattoo licensed, that's one thing I want to talk about quick. I tell customers, young customers, this all the time at the barbershop. When you get a trade, go to trade school, man. Get something that nobody can take from you. If you're an electrician and you're licensed, you're an electrician for life. You're always going to have a job. If you're a carpenter, a barber, tattoo artist, I mean, what did it feel like when that license came? Right, I saw you. You were happy. You're right. Like I can't take that from you as your boss or I can't. No one can take that from you.
I mean, yeah, I definitely remember that night sitting on the couch. It was September 9th of this last year of 2020, and my wife has got me a little pendant on a necklace to commemorate it. But I was sitting on the couch and I was looking at my iPad because I was drawing up tattoos for the next day. And especially with the COVID stuff, I had sent in my paperwork.
Yeah, you were part of it.
Yeah, weeks before. So I knew it was gonna come. I just didn't know when.
Sure.
And I didn't know it was gonna hit that hard, man. I looked at my iPad and I had a new email from the Minnesota Department of Health, and I'm like, I get updates for it, just like random COVID stats and stuff. And I opened it, and my whole life I ain't been shit, excuse my language, but I haven't been nothing. Right. I felt like nothing. I didn't have value in myself, and I just did a lot of things that were not respectable. And I felt like I had finally become something. I was set. Not only was I set, but you gave
your family some stability. You had something.
My kids are set. My wife is set. Anybody I care about or love and is close to me, if you need anything whatsoever, we're set. I'm not saying I'm the richest man in the world, not even close, but money doesn't mean rich. You know what I mean? And I just felt I had this sense of accomplishment, like I had done this. And I give so much credit to you giving me an opportunity, and every single time I try to sing your accolades, it's like you did it, Devin.
You know what I'm going to say right away? Yeah. I'm going to say you did the work.
You did the work.
Yeah, and it's not that I want to be full humble and humility and all that. It's the truth, man. You put in the work. I'll tell you my story about when I got my first license as a master barber. I got to backtrack to when I was in prison. I went to barber school. My Bill Dittman, he believed in me before I could ever believe in myself. He told me I was going to become a barber just off personality. I can do bad haircuts and that they're just going to like me, right? And that was the joke. And I got up into the program and I wasn't good at it at all. I was terrible. I was doing haircuts in 2.5 hours. Like nobody wanted me to cut their hair. And then I quit. And then I went to the hole. And then Bill showed up in the hole with the book. I got 15 days to do it, so I read the whole book. I got out of the hole. He gave me another chance, brought me to the barber shop. I said, well, maybe I better try this. 4 months later, I was a tutor. 5 months later, I was beyond grateful that this man believed in me more than I believed in him myself. Then I started getting cocky. Then my ego started growing. Then I was the best barber in everything. So not just St. Cloud, I thought I was the best in any institution. Along came the time to take the test. I didn't study no more. I read that book once. I got the highest grade in the class on the haircut, and I failed my written. So they stripped me of I didn't get my license. That was devastating. Then I got shipped out. It's over. Barbering was over for me for the longest time. All of a sudden I had, at the time I had 13 months left, and I had the choice to get out in a few months, or bill came ringing again. We can get you up to Moose Lake if you want to finish up your barber school.
So you had the choice to leave prison.
I had the choice to get out of prison on work release.
And be outside of a prison.
Yep.
And you chose?
I chose that if I don't have this barber license, I'm never going to make it. So I stayed. And I got transferred up to Moose Lake. Nobody makes that decision, Deven.
That's humility. You went from being, this cocky, arrogant barber to think you have everything, and then you were knocked down a peg.
I didn't know what I was going to do when I got out. I didn't have backing. I didn't have family and friends that were going to help me. I knew that I and I was so scarred from not having the barber license that I needed it. I needed to go get it.
Yeah.
So I show up to the barber school, and Brian Kendall's up there, and I walk in. I kind of got my ego going a little bit. I'm like, I'm going to show all these guys in Moose Lake who the best barber is. Right? Just had that mentality. I was young. Walked through the doors. I was like, where's my station? I'm Steve Pepin. Yeah, I know who you are. Blah, blah. He sat me down at the school table and said, here's your station. I didn't cut one haircut for 5 months. Every single day that guy had me studying. Every single day. No haircuts. Ended up taking the test. Got A's across the board. I was waiting. I think it was I was going to go to work release about 30 days later. I'm waiting. That license came to me while I was in prison, and it was the happiest day of my life. I exactly how you felt. That's why I tell people, get something that they can't take from you. Mm-hmm. Get something. Going and working just a regular job, they can close that place down. Going and working for somebody else's campaign, somebody else's business, they can fire you. But if you go get something for yourself, can nobody take away from you? I can be a barber anywhere. Mm-hmm. And that was the biggest turning point in my life. When I got out on work release, I hopped the bus from Anoka to Coon Rapids to, Champlain to wherever I had to go to try to find a job, and ended up cutting hair. And it became my career. But if I don't make that decision right, while I was there, I never get that moment.
Right.
So all I ever really want to do, Deven, is give people the opportunity like I got.
And I
want to give back,
And you do. I guess, I don't know, I think perspective is a huge thing, and just hearing that story, if I would have heard that story 2 years ago, I would have thought, yeah, man, he just self-willed his way through and just never gave up, and that is a big aspect of it. But like the way that I see things now, that has me so at peace and so grateful, and continuing to just be happy and choose happy every morning. I feel like, and this is just my opinion, that you weren't ready when you were cocky and arrogant and thought you knew everything. I feel like your higher power stepped in and was like, you still have a little bit of learning to do.
Yeah,
you have the potential to be amazing. You have the potential to be pep, but your attitude ain't there yet. Your ego ain't there yet. So it definitely made you hungrier. And I can count a million times in my life that's happened with, myself. I just never had the perspective on it to think about it that way. What I thought was like, oh, just bad stuff happens to me. No, just because I think it's the right time doesn't mean it is the right time. You know.
I'm proud of you, brother.
I appreciate that.
We got a lot more to do.
Oh, this is just the beginning, man.
It's the beginning.
Oh.
It's the beginning. But I'm glad that we did this. I think that this is a powerful story and a powerful message. It's just kind of scraping the surface, but I think it gives the audience something to think about.
Yeah.
Don't feel sorry for yourself. Don't blame. Don't do this. Get rid of all those demons inside you that hold you back. All that bad. We had a show a while back. Dustin and I put on. Bone Crusher came when we were at the bar, and that guy, dude, on the way to the hotel, this famous rapper guy that crushed it with the I ain't never scared.
He never scared.
Right.
Yep.
He told me, he said, "I leave you with one thing, Pep," and I was like, "Sure." I didn't know what he was going to say, right? And he said, "You got a lot of bad souls around you, man. You got to get some of them bad souls away from you so you can let some new ones in, some good ones in." And I didn't even, I wasn't on the level then to even comprehend what he meant. But then I started understanding it. And I started replacing some of those, those demons and them those people that were only taking advantage with people like you that care about me, that don't want nothing from me.
Man. Yeah.
They don't want nothing from me. But that's what other people have to do too.
Absolutely.
This isn't just about your story or my story. We're trying to get through to these people that This is what you need to do.
Yeah,
if you want to drive down First Street and feel grateful and at peace and free and have no negative energy, a zen inside you, habits, mindset, what you tell yourself, and get rid of them bad souls and those demons. And I've watched you do that, and I've done it.
Definitely.
Let's keep pushing forward, man. I love you, brother.
I love you too, man.
Yeah, you're welcome.
The PepTalk Podcast.